So this morning I have woken up not far from Bridgewater. I was hoping to get to Bridgewater last night and actually get home, but there was an accident at Weston-super-Mare which meant that I didn't get home. And this would have been the first time I've been home for ages in the week. Never mind, I have got a lot on today and I am close to being up on my 90. I have less than 9 hours driving. Normally in a day you would have a 9-hour drive as a minimum, and twice a week you can extend that to 10-hour drive. But today I have 8 hours 34 minutes and I have a lot to do to get back to the yard on time. As always, the first thing that I do in the morning is go and do my daily checks to make sure that the truck is roadworthy for today's drive. Been out and done my daily checks, and now I'm going to fill out my daily checks book. I've made my cup of tea, so now it's time to go. I head down the M5 for one junction before getting off at junction 23. This road takes me down the A39 towards Street. This road is not one of the nicest roads to travel on in a lorry. At this time in the morning with no traffic, it's not too bad. I turn off the A39 at the Pipers and take a series of B roads heading towards Yeovil. These roads are quite windy and it also takes me under a 15-foot bridge, which is no problem for me. I hop onto the A372 for a short distance before heading right around Poddywall roundabout. Part way round I have to stop at the lights and I see another bulker heading in the same direction as me, and I'm really hoping that he's not going to the same place as me. And as we head towards the mill, I will find out. Right, I'm hoping that there is no one on the pit this morning and I can go straight on. And the pit is free. Oh, brilliant. Well, it's about 5 to 6 and I should imagine they're weighing me in at about 6 o'clock. So I'm just going to pull on to the weighbridge. It's a bit bumpy. And then go and see somebody. I need my paperwork. This load has come down from Hull. I loaded it yesterday, so yeah, that is the Hull paperwork, and put my high vis on, and hopefully someone's seen me come in and they come straight out. Maybe. Ideal, that is me all weighed in and I can go straight onto the pit. There's hardly anyone in the yard this morning either, so it's going to make it a really easy reverse for me. I loaded these distillers in Hull yesterday and they have travelled 290 miles all the way down to Yeovil to be used as an ingredient in animal feed. Once I have a sample taken, I can lift the body up and start tipping. Distillers are notoriously sticky, especially when left on overnight, and this batch seems to have a few big lumps as well. This should take about 45 minutes to tip, but it is very, very lumpy, so I am going to have to keep an eye on it. And I can do this by keeping an eye on my onboard weigher. So I'm just going to make a cup of tea while I'm waiting for it to finish. I was looking at my onboard weigher and it all stopped. So I went to the back and the pit had stopped, and that normally happens for one of two reasons. Either the pit's broken down or the bin inside is full up and they just need to change the bins. Luckily, when I went to find somebody, it was just the bin was full up. So he's directed the load now into a different bin that is empty, and I am tipping again. While I'm here, I'm also going to fill out my ticket for my next load. I am going to Wilton near Salisbury next. Once the trailer is empty, I go to the back and undo the back door to let the last little bit out. A little bit in here that just needs to be swept out, and down at the bottom. I brush down all the sides and the floor to make sure I've got a nice clean trailer for my next load. Right, that's that done. So now I just need to pull off the pit and park up, and I am quite glad that I got in here when I did, because there are now 3 bulkers waiting behind me to tip. Need to do a bit of manoeuvring here. Let's get onto the weighbridge. Now go and get my paperwork and then I can go. Got my ticket. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get some fuel just down the road. Where I'm going to get fuel, it tends to be quite slow and there's only one HGV pump. So I'm going to wait to ring the farmer until I've fueled up, because then I can give him a more accurate time that I will be there. Let's go. The fuel station is just down the road at Podimore, and it only takes me about 15 minutes to get there. As I pull round, I'm not sure whether this chap's on his break or whether he's waiting for fuel. So I stop and ask quickly with hand signals, just to make sure I'm not pushing in. There is somebody here already fueling up. People can get past behind. Hopefully the chap won't be too long because he's not filling up. No, I didn't have to wait too long at all, which is a turn up in here because you can be waiting for ages. The pumps are very, very slow. Like I said, very, very slow. Just going to ring the farmer quickly and let him know that I will be there soon.
Hello.
Hello, it's Gemma from Wayne's Transport. I'm coming to collect another load of barley from you.
Yeah.
I should be with you about 8:45, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. We've got someone in about 8:30, so that'll be fine.
Oh, perfect. Ideal. All right then.
Okay.
Cheers.
See you then.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ideal. Perfect. So I make my way out of Podimore services and I head up to the roundabout to take the A303 heading east. One thing I've noticed about the roadworks on the A303 between Podimore and Spartford is that they don't seem to be replacing the laybys that they've taken out, which means that there's less places for truck drivers to take their legally required breaks. I get off the A303 at the turn-in for the A36 and I head south towards Salisbury. The weather has been awful all week, so I'm quite surprised to see this nice sunny day approaching. Let's just hope that it stays like this all day. Only need to head down the A36 for a few miles before the farm pops up on the side of the road. As I turn in round, I spot another lorry being loaded. I'm just going to pull up here. That is a blower trailer. It's like he's already loaded because his axle is down, so that's a good sign. So I'm guessing they're just sorting out the paperwork and then I can get myself into position to get loaded. I came here earlier in the week, so I know that I am loading barley. I was going to say at that shed, but I don't reckon I am. I think I am loading out of that shed because there's nothing in that shed. The shed that I thought I was going to load out of, there's nothing in it. And this reminded me of the story that Fraser told on Dad's Army.
Hear the story of the old empty barn. Oh. There was nothing in it.
I don't think that will ever get old and will probably always be my go-to ghost story. But anyway, I pull up in front of the grain store that is actually full. I take my sheet off and I give the farmer the thumbs up to say that I'm ready to load. While he's loading, I'm just going to give my mirrors a quick wipe down, as the rain and the salt from the roads has made them quite mucky. This will only take around 15 minutes to load, and then I can head straight off to Crediton. So I'm just filling out the grain passport, which must be done, and I just checked the date on it, so that one's May 2024, and I checked to make sure that it's signed, which it is. Right, let's go to Crediton, and I should hopefully make it past the end of the trailer there. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to give it a quick shunt to make sure that all the barley is down before I put the sheet on. Yep, nothing spilled. Once everything's safe and secure, I head out of the farm and back onto the A36, this time heading back the way I came towards the A303. To get back onto the A303, I take the slip road to the left. This journey over to Crediton is just over 100 miles and will take me around 2.5 hours. I will stay on the A303 until it turns into the A30. and this will take me all the way up to Exeter, and on the M5 for a short distance heading south. At the end of the motorway I take the A30, and I only stay on the A30 for one junction until I get to the Crediton junction. It kind of takes me around the back of Exeter. You can see here that the road to the left is shut, and that is the road that I need to take. So I follow the diversion signs and eventually it takes me back onto the road that I need to be on. I take the road to the left just before Crediton town centre, and as I head down the road I have to wait for the level crossing. I think I've probably hit it at just the right time as it's just opening, but this is a very narrow road and I am in a big vehicle, so I need to wait for all the other vehicles to come past me before I can go through. And as I'm heading down through, I spot a tractor, but he spots me too, and he pulls in at a suitable place where we can just about pass. I'm hoping that's all I come across until I get to the mill. Once I'm in the mill, I head straight for the weighbridge.
Ticket, passport, high vis.
I get weighed in super quick and I can head onto the bay.
Well, I have drawn the short straw and I have got to go on the front pit, which is a little bit of a nightmare. Yeah, I guess you've just started.
Yeah.
When I come in and your body was half down, I thought, oh, I might be in luck and you're coming off.
There's a farm on it,
Oh, right.
Are you letting more experienced youngsters do? I've done it many years.
Right, I better go and see if I can get on this pit.
I'll show you, I'll be the cutter today.
Yeah.
Rob Wookie loves a good chat and he's always got a good story to tell. This front pit is not the easiest to get on, and I'm sure whenever anybody comes in here they're the same as me and would just prefer to go on the back pit just because it's so much easier. With the front pit you need to take every little bit of space that you possibly can, get as close as you can to the barriers and the walls, and this should then put your trailer in a better position to try and get into the bay. I often feel like I could just do with another 2 or 3 foot to pull forwards to make sure that I'm lined up correctly. As I go back, I take it steady, and as I swing the cab around, I watch the wall to the side to make sure that I don't get too close. So far so good, and it's looking like my trailer is lined up just right for the pit, and all I need to do now is back straight back into it. This is a point where you normally mess it up when you've got it straight and perfectly in line, and you do something silly to put it out of line. But not today, not for me.
I did it. I got what I want. That was you giving me luck.
I get a sample to take down to the office and they will test that before I can tip. I also put my grain sock on. When I've been given the go-ahead to tip, I lift the body up and open the grain hatch. That's me all tipping, and I just have to wait until it's all finished. It should take hopefully around half an hour for barley. I can keep an eye on it on my onboard weigher. And one of the reasons why I really like tipping here is they have decent toilet facilities, which is rare to find as a female in this industry. But they're clean, they're decent, and you actually get treated like a human being. Whilst I'm waiting, I give the office a quick ring.
Hi, Clara.
Hello, alright?
How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. I am tipping. Got 3 hours 56 on my 90 left. So I said to Aaron yesterday, if I get stuck, someone's going to have to come out and get me.
Yeah. Job.
Alright,
Cheers. Bye, bye.
Bye.
The reason somebody would have to rescue me if I ran out of time on my 90 is that I wouldn't be able to move anywhere until first thing Monday morning. Place where I could potentially run out of time is a little bit off the beaten track, and I would end up in a lay-by with no food or water or toilet facilities for the whole weekend. And I also wouldn't be too far away from the yard for somebody to be able to come out and get me. My 90 hours is my legally allowed driving time for 2 weeks, and you can do a maximum of 56 hours in 1 week, which means the following week you would only be able to do 34 hours driving, making the 2 weeks up to 90.
This pit is definitely easier to get off than it is to get on.
I make my way back onto the weighbridge and go and get myself weighed out.
I got my weighbridge ticket, and now I have got 3 hours and 55 minutes to get from here to Cannington to Stocklands near Honiton and then back to the yard. Will I do it? Who knows? I could do it. I could do it. As long as I don't meet any traffic on Friday.
I get myself turned around and ready to leave. I need to head back the way I came. I'm hoping that I don't meet as much traffic this time. And luckily I don't meet anything, but that is probably because, once again, the level crossing is down, meaning that no traffic can come up through. Sat here for a little while longer than I was before, but when the barriers do go up, it's my line of traffic that goes first. And I head back out onto the A377 towards Exeter. And luckily the road that was shut on the way up is only shut one way, so I can go back in the other direction along that road. I head round the back of Exeter to join up to the A30 again, which leads me right on to the M5, heading northbound. I come off the M5 at Bridgewater. Bridgewater is my hometown, but unfortunately it's not home time yet. I still have one more load to complete, and I'm picking up from a grain store in Cannington. Once I get there, I pull onto the weighbridge and get weighed in, and then I'm told where I need to go and load. And today I'm loading out of the bins at the back. He starts loading up the front and gives me a shout when I need to move. He also does this one more time as he loads front, middle and back. I keep watching my weigher and I give him a beep when I'm fully loaded. And then I can head back round the building and back onto the weighbridge, where I get myself weighed out. This load of wheat is going to a farm to be tipped for animal feed, as some farmers like to make their own feed. But unfortunately I can't get hold of the farmer, and I know this is a tricky farm to get to. I hit a bit of traffic going through town, but this is normal for Bridgewater. I've just pulled over quickly to put some more AdBlue in because I am not going to make it the day without putting a bit more in. So hopefully all I need is one can. I've got some in my side locker. I was hoping what I had would last a day, but unfortunately it won't. Once that's done, I get onto the M5 heading south, and unfortunately it's looking a little slow. It looks like something has happened, like an accident, and one lane is shut. Luckily, it doesn't take me too long to get through, which, as you know, is quite important today because I am running out of driving time. And the slower you go, the more it eats up your driving time. I head up the 303, and as I turn up the road that I need to take to get to the farm, it looks like there has been a little accident here too. I have tipped here before a few years ago, so I'm going to go to the place where I've tipped before, as it feels like the only thing I can do, as the farmer is not answering either of his phones. When I get down to the farm, there looks like there's a lot of activity here. I spot somebody who looks like they will know where I need to be, so I go to talk to him. He tells me that I need to turn myself around and back down to the barns at the end, and he's going to let me do that by moving the machinery that is in my way. Because of how the entrance to the farm is and the farm lane heading downhill, it seems the most sensible option is to drive in, back down the hill, drive back up the hill, and then back into the farm. The reason I've done it like this is 1, because of traction, 2, I will have more room to swing the front round on the reverse, and 3, I avoid backing in on my blind side, which is in general a lot easier and safer. Once I reverse him round, I speak to somebody who tells me that I need to tip at a different farm. So after coming down here and wasting my driving time, I have to go to another farm. I'm just hoping that this wasted driving time doesn't affect me getting back to the yard. As I'm heading down to the other farm, I meet another truck in the lane. Unfortunately, there are no passing places behind me, so on this occasion, it makes sense for the other truck to back up. When you deliver to a farm, quite often it's a tailboard tip, but on this occasion, the farm has a pit to tip into. So I pull up and reverse onto the pit. I'm also hoping that this pit isn't going to take hours, as I've been to some farms where it's taken a couple of hours to tip. I get myself set up and start tipping, and the farmer assures me that it will only take around half an hour to tip. It's now 4:30 and I am absolutely starving. I had a jacket potato left this week and some beans, so that is what I've cooked myself quickly. And I think I'm really going to need this. I feel so much better now. I have around 6 tons left, which I can see on my onboard weigher, and when I'm finished I can just go. From here I am going straight back the yard, so I'm going to start packing up some of my stuff. And this will make it so much easier when I get back the yard. I can just chuck my stuff into the car. Once I'm tipped, I take my grain sock off, undo the tailboard and let the last little bit out of the trailer. I take a look inside the trailer to see how clean it is, and I brush down any bits of grain that are still stuck around the fixings. Then I put my grain sock away on the side of the trailer and put the body down. And even though this load has come out super clean, I'm still going to brush it out as I don't know what I'm doing on Monday. If it's a quarry load, it needs to be absolutely immaculate. Apparently this button here stops the pit. Hopefully. Oh, it works. Sounds healthy. I put everything away and I move the truck forward slightly. This bit here. Oh. Oh, look at that. That's clever, isn't it? Never seen one of them before. So I've just had my number through for next week. I had a little look on my app to see what I'm doing and I have got the cream. OMG, I never get the cream. Must be doing something right lately. So from here it's about 40 minutes back to the yard and I have 1 hour and 1 minute to get there. So I'm pretty certain that unless anything major happens, I'm going to get back in my 90. That wall was scaring me a bit, but I think actually I'll be alright. Oh yeah, loads of room, loads of room. Let's get back to the blinking yard. Because there's no turning place at the farm, I need to go out a different way than I came in kind of a one-way system. The farmer did warn me that this lane is quite narrow and had quite a few hills and bends. And he also said, make sure that you turn right at the end of the road, as it wouldn't be a good idea to go left. It was a tight lane to get out of, but I just about got round. Finally, I'm back on the main road and heading back to the yard. I take the A30 down towards Honiton, and then I take the Honiton to Clumpton Road. This road is also a bit narrow in places, but it is the quickest way back to the yard. And with my time running low, it's also the most sensible option. Finally, I make it back to the yard, and I am so pleased that I made it back without needing to be rescued. I fill up my AdBlue tank and my can that I used earlier, and then I go to wait for the wash. And as I seem to be the last one back, I'm also the last one waiting for the wash. The queue moves up and I am next in line for the wash. So I'm currently waiting for the wash. The problem we have at Wayne's is there is one wash for 23 trucks. James might actually be coming off of the wash. Woohoo! It's now dark, and as soon as he comes off the wash, I am not going to hesitate to get on and get the truck all soaped up. Because of the type of work we do, the trucks get quite dirty, but it's always nice to go out fresh and clean on a Monday. Once I'm done, I park the truck up, and at this point I am really ready to go home, as I have been out since 3 o'clock on Monday morning. And I think it's not only my time that is running out, I think it may also be my patience. So what the dash shows me here is I have 8 minutes of working time left and 13 minutes of driving time. So today has been a full 15-hour day, even though I had less driving time to use because I was up on my 90. I still had a 15-hour day to use, which I did actually need. Doing a 15-hour day on a Friday when you've already busted a gut is quite hard going, and is why sometimes I just cannot get a video out on a Saturday. I genuinely do a full week's work and then I try and get a video out. I'm all packed up in the car, ready to go home, and I am so happy to be going home. Thanks for watching.